Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to What's Up Wednesday 3/13/19 edition. I see there are some folks starting to trickle in here. We'll wait for them to get in here. A little bit of a late start tonight. What's up, Jeff and Joseph and Travis? People are falling in. We skipped out What's Up Wednesday last week, and I don't remember why. It has been an absolute madhouse around here. There's everybody kind of petering in. Got to give Justin Porter a shout out. I told him I would do that, so there's his shout out. Super tired. Just got back from another shop. Had to go look at a Nissan Titan pickup and getting that sorted. So is everything coming in loud and clear in your end in the World Wide Web? I'm going to eat in front of you again, as I typically do. Aaron E., he gets a shout out. Yeah, I've been, hopefully you guys don't feel abandoned. Been slacking in the video department. Been crazy busy here. I am officially almost caught up. I'm caught up to the point I only have 3 cars left over. I've got a car over there with the heads off it. I got a Dodge truck in the parking lot that I'm waiting for. The instrument cluster will be here tomorrow. And then I've got another one that was dropped off from the local Chrysler dealership that I need to look at tomorrow. ASAP, they said. So we're going to give that a look tomorrow. Evidently, it has some lean codes in it. And they don't like working on non-Dodge branded stuff. So, yep. And then we're going to roll back to our regularly scheduled program where we're rolling out videos more religiously. Josh has been here for this week, worked all weekend, worked for the past 4 weekends, and I'm whipped, I'm spent, but I am finally caught up, which is great. My buddy Matt, he came up from where he lives and helped me put an engine in a Subaru. If you guys follow us on Facebook, the pictures of that one there with the FB20, that 2.0 chain drive, we got that put in and that's done. And I've only got one more engine job left after I get that engine together over there in the Buick. And then we'll be back to normal, whatever normal is, or at least semi caught up anyhow. So that's that. So what's been shaking with you guys? Sorry about not cranking out the videos. No, I don't need a new hat. My hat is great. Yes. There's TDM. I thought he was saying hi to me, but I guess he's not. Hopefully he got his Rover put together. So it's kind of funny, Enigma, that you mentioned the hair color. I was talking to Mrs. O about that actually today, as a matter of fact, telling her that we should do a What's Up Wednesday where I dye my hair back to the OG, back to the color it was when I was 14 years old, which was black. And that's when I started going gray. And we thought it'd be kind of funny to see, to see what I would look like with black hair. Just here for the subscribers, huh? Trolling, man. You're always trolling. How old is my hat? I don't know how old this hat is, to be honest with you. I have several Jeep hats, all in different steps of deterioration, I guess it would be. I have one fairly new one. I have one brand new one, but it doesn't fit well, so I don't wear it. They have shampoo that dyes hair. Yeah, no, I started going gray when I was 14. I got my first couple gray hairs, and my grandpa went gray pretty early. My mom's all white. And, her side of the family, her brothers and her dad and stuff were, all white hair. Lots of hair, just all white. Yeah, this hat has probably a good 100,000 miles on it. Yeah, it's no problem. I mean, I went gray pretty early. I'm pretty much white. I had to change it, my driver's license, of hair color from black to gray. Never didn't make it to 40, but I've been gray for a long time. My beard's starting to go gray. Yep, better to have gray hair than no hair, that's for sure. What else we got here? Got people from England, Puerto Rico, California. It's messing with your white balance when I take my hat off. I am so tired. So this won't be a very long live stream, or, well, who knows? We never know where these things go. They always get kind of out of hand at some point. Oh, Joe's Auto Electric's in here. Everybody better behave. He's got the blue wrench. And I got an apple. That's all I could find in the office. An apple and a banana and a water. And I already drank a Red Bull, so I don't need any of that. Oh, there's Oz. He's up in here with the blue wrench. And everybody's saying hi to Kua, so she must be in here too with the blue wrench. So watch out. The 906 versus the 906 BT. I know the 906 BT is the Bluetooth. That's the one I have, which is great because it's cordless. And I don't know if the regular 906, I'd have to look, is, I assume, corded. I would always go for the cordless option. If you want a cord on it, you can put a USB cord between the Bluetooth module or the Bluetooth VCI and the little connector. But I've always had great communication with mine. What's up with the blue wrench? The blue wrench are chat moderators. So if you're in there being an a-hole or saying the word a-hole, they just delete you and then put you on the permanent ban list, and then you're gone forever. Pretty much that's it in a nutshell. So they're all friends of mine, except for Glenn. Nobody likes Glenn. And actually we do. I'm just kidding. And they moderate the chat and willingly in their own free time. And they do that. You get naughty, boom. And the thing is, like when you say naughty stuff, like you can see it and we can see it on our screen, but it's actually blocked so nobody else can see it. And then they just delete you and ban you forever, permanently from the SMA channel. And that bans you from all videos also. You can still watch them and you can still comment on them, just nobody sees your comment. So, yep. Oh, Glenn, we love you. You are a friend. I'm just kidding. How long until the ice cream place is open? That is a great question, Aaron. Usually I start blowing up their Facebook page about this time of year. The first warm day that we have, I'm like, oh, they must be open soon, but it's not true. There is one here in Hornell that is open. And then, of course, there's Dippity Doodahs in Corning, which is all homemade ice cream, which is pretty good, but you have to drive to Corning or Hornell. So you've got a 25-minute trek either way to get ice cream. And rumor has it the ice cream store in Hornell, the one next to Giovanni's by the school, they were burned dairy, which is that's my jam. If I'm getting soft serve, I like burned dairy, and I've heard that they're switching, so not too happy to hear that. Oh, yours open today? Wow. Yeah, warm in Avoca means 27 degrees. Actually, it's like 40. It was like I just came back from Clockton at a shop, and it was like 43, I think, in the tundra, is what it said. How much snow? Everything's still white. Grass is just starting to poke through, but we have big piles of melting mess. You know, it doesn't look too good when it starts messing or, you know, melting and it's all brown and nasty. Man, yeah, wow. You have ice cream year round, TDM? I doubt it. I watched your video the other day. I could see your breath in the whole video. It looks like it was about 20 degrees in your shop. Summer in Avoca, 43. Nah, it gets up. It gets hot. Summertime kind of sucks because, you know, we always have like that 1 week where it's like 100. But I did get my Tundra back. If you guys don't follow us on Facebook, got that baby back from the body shop. They did an absolutely beautiful job on it. I was like literally throwing up in my mouth. First time I've ever had to take my vehicle to another shop to be repaired. And of course, you know, it's bodywork. I don't do bodywork. I took it there. I tip well, and I make that fact known. to the guy doing the body work, plus the guy doing the painting, because it's a huge shop I went to. So they got a body guy and a paint guy and stuff. And it just turned out amazing. You can't even tell. It's just unbelievable. And then they also have a Crown franchise there. So they recrowned the inside of my box side and my new bumper and all that stuff. So what happened to the Tundra? So for you guys that don't know, I backed into a tree stump when I was plowing snow. I was helping out my neighbor. There was a tree stump under the snow, and it's kind of flush, and didn't see it, and whacked that sucker. And it was about the same height as my bumper, so it hit my back bumper and pushed that into the box side. But then the tree stump went under the bumper and up into the back corner of the box side, so folded it right in half. And but they were able, I thought I was gonna have to get a whole box side. It was like $2,600, but they were able to pull it all out and use like very, very little body filler. I couldn't believe how well they work metal as far as pulling that out. Absolutely no crease that you couldn't even tell. It was unbelievable. The technology they have in body shops nowadays is it's amazing. So yeah, it worked out really well. And then I didn't want any aftermarket bumpers. So, it costs extra to have, OEM bumper, OEM brackets, OEM step pad, all that stuff. So, but it's amazing. Did he pay for it? No, I paid for it. He wasn't the one driving my truck. It was his driveway and he wasn't even home. I never even told him. So I'm not going to go help out a neighbor and then be like, hey, I hit your tree stump. You owe me some money. It's like, I don't even get money to plow his driveway. So his tractor was broke, so I plowed his driveway and his mother's driveway. That's what good neighbors do. And where we live, you want to be good friends with your neighbors, because we only have a couple of them. Yep. Yeah, it was kind of neat using somebody else. Of course, I have a couple friends that work at that body shop. One guy works in their parts department. The other guy, he does some of their estimates and just kind of like management type stuff. So I was in communication with them, and I had them fix a few other things on it while it was there. So yeah. There's Keith from L1 Diagnostics, another blue wrench in here. Yeah, no, I didn't want any Chinesium put like, or seen trucks that have like aftermarket chrome bumpers. They're spanked in like a year and thin as a pop can. So yes, we do have, there are Keystone body parts around here. There's I don't know where guys get their body parts, but I have seen the Keystone like headlights and body panels and stuff like that. I just assume aftermarket body stuff is just like aftermarket parts for us, where, you have some decent stuff, some stuff you'll get, but, other stuff is just straight garbage. And I certainly didn't want an aftermarket back bumper. How's the Kia doing? That's a good question. So the Kia, we bought it. Of course, it's brand new. And I put factory mud guards on it because we travel, our roads are garbage. Even the blacktop, there's always, layers of sand and dirt and salt on it. So I put mud guards on the front of it, factory ones, pre-molded, nice. The problem is, so she has like 3,000 miles on it right now, or 3,100-ish. There is no paint left on the back corners on the dog leg. So like be like the D pillar, excuse me. So where the sliding door opens, that dog leg back there, gosh, Apple's getting me, is down to bare metal. There is stone guard there, and there is the paint protector, clear sticker there, and it is completely sandblasted. It is chipped through all of the clear guard. It has chipped through the stone guard, and it has chipped through the paint right to bare metal in a strip about 8 inches long. So, with, hardly any miles on it, like, well, we should, take it to Kia, show them, see what they say. So we, took it to Kia, and the guy there is a complete nimrod. Of course, they're just like, oh, do you want free oil changes? This and that. And his suggestion was to take the bottom of the door and he wants to bend the door out to redirect the wind. And I'm like, dude, just stop talking. That's ridiculous. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And first of all, you're not going to touch the doors. We don't have any water leaks, wind whistles. I mean, the thing is, absolutely great to drive, dead quiet. It's obvious. It's clearly a design flaw in the vehicle. And that generation Kia, I started looking at more of them, and they're all doing it. The only fix would be is to put a wider mudguard on the front, which is going to look horrible. It's going to look stupid. So, long story short, they want to paint it, and which I think is kind of ridiculous because it's not going to solve the problem. It's temporarily going to make it look good again. He wanted to do it there, and I told him no. I want to have it done, at our body shop. So I'm going to take it to Goodrich's where I had my truck done. I'm going to have them do it. I'm going to have them redo the stone guard up higher, repaint it. Kia's going to pay for it. It's almost $2,000 to have it done. They're going to pay for it. And then I don't know where we're going to go from there because obviously painting it is not going to fix it. So, we're not going to, I don't know what we're going to do. In the meantime, I'm going to look for a different set of aftermarket front mud guards, perhaps that that are molded, that look tasteful, that maybe stick out just a little bit further. The factory ones, they come down, but then they curve them way in on the bottom corner of the edge. And if you stand behind the vehicle and look at it, you can see a lot of the front tire, and that's where the garbage is coming from. I took one of the mud guards off, drove it down, down the road, seen the spray pattern on the side of the vehicle, put the mud guard back on, washed the vehicle, drove it, and seen the spray pattern. All it did is it took it from a big V pattern down the side of the vehicle to a smaller V, but it's still concentrated on that sandblasted point. So that's it. I mean, it is a clear design flaw in the vehicle. I plan on addressing it with Kia to see what they're going to do. Obviously, something has to be done. I paid a lot of money for the vehicle. And in our climate, how bare metal is going to last. And I think if that thing is blasted down to bare steel in 3,000 miles, that's ridiculous. And, I have a pretty big microphone, so we'll see how it goes. I hope to resolve it peacefully. I guess we'll leave it at that. Yeah, that's the thing, Mike. I bought the car because she kept hounding me to fix her old one. So I thought I was doing a stroke of business. I said, I'll fix it. I'll buy a brand new one. Problem solved, right? And here we are. So it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Let's see. So Blazer, it does have factory chip film on it. That's the thing. It comes factory with chip film plus stone guard, underneath the paint. So once the paint comes off that stuff is like white colored. Excuse me just a moment. Bear with me, folks. So that's where I'm at. And we'll get to the bottom of it. One way or another, whether they end up, buying it back or, whatever the case may be. And then we'll go buy, a Toyota or a Honda or something. But the Kia is fantastic. Of course, they have, good reputation, extremely high crash test ratings. And it is absolutely pleasant to drive. It is super quiet, tons of power. So, I can't complain about it other than, that obvious design flaw in the body, which, like I say, all we need is a different mud guard, and that's it. That will solve the problem. But I'm just, I really don't want to go put like some, Yosemite Sam, like get off my tail mud flaps on the front of it because it's going to look stupid. Yeah, what's with What's Up Wednesday on a Wednesday? Just throwing a wrench in the mix there, V-Dub. Yeah, that's what it needs. It needs some bushwhacker fender flares. Oh yes, and my truck was in the shop. I've been driving my Jeep for like 2 weeks, so I put like over 1,000 miles on the Jeep. And let me tell you what, it sucks. It sucks, dude. I hate driving it. I like driving it. I don't know how people get them things and drive them every single day. I mean, it drives beautiful, for being lifted. I mean, you drive down the road, 70 miles an hour, one finger on the wheel, but it's about 8 to 9 miles to the gallon. And, of course, with the lift kit and stuff and the big tires, it's obnoxious for a daily driver. It's super fun to go wheeling with and to go out and play. But as a daily driver, shoot me, man, I would not want to drive one of those every single day. It's obnoxious. It's loud. Of course, you got tires on it. They're humming, and every bump, just beats it out of you. So, what am I eating? An apple. Is this live? It is not. No, we're not live right now. But yeah, that's that. So other than that, the Jeep did good. Right at the end of its 1 or 2 week endeavor, I went to park it out back. I washed all the salt and everything off it and parked it. And I took it for a drive to blow the water off it and burn the rust off the brakes from washing it. And the brake booster went bad. It's squealing like a pig on the inside. You can hear it. You can hear it leaking. You step on the brake pedal and it's squawking and everything else. I got to get a brake booster for it. It's like never ending when you own a Chrysler product. It's like, oh yeah, we made it 1,000 miles. Now it's another $200 or whatever. It's just like, it's monotonous. Yeah, Jeep life. Yeah, I just couldn't imagine. Like, oh, yeah, the heater sucks. I mean, it works good, but every day for like a week, it was like below 10 degrees. It was freaking freezing ass cold. And then, start it up, warm it up. It's like, oh man, I missed my Tundra, but now it's back and we're good. We're happy. Yeah, don't get me wrong, Ben. I still love my Jeeps. I've had Jeeps in the past, and I still love Jeeps. I just don't know if I could daily drive a Jeep. Yeah, I don't know if I could. It's just, at least, I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't, lifted to, let's say, just a plain Jane WJ with a 4.7. They're ballsy, they're fun to drive. That I could drive that every day. Of course, you drive it for a week, work on it for a day, drive it for a week, work on it. Yeah, I could do that cycle. But the lifted, with the big honking tires and stuff. I mean, it's fun. When I was younger, I had no problem driving them every day. But now I just want nice, quiet, hot, comfortable. Am I missing something here, Kuba? I didn't yet at PJ. I must have missed it. If I missed something, let me know. 4.7, am I crazy? Worst motor ever? What Chrysler motor is good? 4-liter. That's the only one. And the 4.2. 3.7, garbage. 4.7, garbage. They're all garbage. The 4.7 in that one runs fantastic. It hasn't puked any rocker arms yet. Let's see. So that's it. Yeah, I think the 4-liter is great, but they're so severely underpowered. On a lifted one, of course, I'm changing the gears and I'm putting air lockers front and back in the WJ and changing the gear. It's got 373s in it right now. So when I drive it with 34-inch tires, I just run it in fourth gear. I run it out of overdrive, and it works. It works fine there. But I'm dropping the gear ratio way down, and like I say, putting air lockers in it. I was gonna put a Detroit locker in the back and the Detroit True Track in the front, but it has the Dana 44A rear end, so it's the 44 aluminum housing, and Eaton does not make a locker for that. So I'm just gonna put air lockers in it and be done with it. Yeah, buy a Range Rover. I see more Range Rovers in your shop than on the road, man. At least mine sits outside, Yep. wanting more creature comfort shows that I'm getting more mature. I know. I tell you what, I miss my Ridgeline. That thing, you know, it was RTL, so that had, you know, navigation, voice command for everything, heated seats. You know, when I get the Tundra, it's got a power seat, and that's about it. But, hey, Wyatt. Yeah, I'll be going like 488s or 513s. I might dip down into the fives because it's not going to be a daily driver. I'd rather have some, you know, some granny gears and, you know, go that route. So. Where are we at? Oh, Keith, you said you have a Titan. I didn't know that. So it's something interesting. So this vehicle I looked at another shop today, crank no start. It's a 08 Titan. And it's a crank no start only when it's cold. And it's 08 Titan, no codes, 5.6 liter. When I checked cam crank correlation, I wanted to check, make sure that the ECM's receiving crank signal, make sure it's receiving cam signal. So I go to the ECM, I jump onto it. I've got a known good waveform. I crank it over. The cam signal is upside down. It's inverted. It's pulling from high to low. But the timing is dead on. It has a pattern of like 3, 3, 2, 1, something like that. I got it on my laptop over there. And I'm like, this is bizarre. You know, this cam pattern is upside down. Do you know why, Keith? Can you tell me? I don't understand. The second the truck starts, the cam pattern inverts. And I don't know why. It sidetracked me for a little bit. I did a little reading on IATN. So that's the thing, Keith. With the cam sensor that's in it, the truck starts and runs fine. Even when it runs, I pulled the fuel pump fuse out of it. Crank, 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 crank. The cam sensor pattern is inverted. It's upside down. I put the fuel pump fuse back in it. The second the truck starts, the cam sensor pattern inverts. It goes back to normal. So I wanted to know. I want to know, how does it hang? Who says that? Brand new cam sensor. I just wanted to know. Same exact thing. Truck starts and runs fine. ECM's going bad. ECM will not start below 10 volts. There's a couple case studies on that on IATN. I'll send you the waveforms, Kuba. You can send them to Keith if you have his email. Let's see. If RPM is too low, the magnitude gets low and causes inversion. You'll have to see the waveforms, Keith. Even when the RPM is high enough, so fully warmed up engine in the shop, fully charged battery, cranking voltage around 10 volts at the sensor, you sit there, pop that fuel pump fuse back in, boom, starts right off immediately. Cam sensor flips over. It's driving me nuts. Of course, it has nothing to do with the starting problem, but anyhow, we'll talk on the side about that. These people will probably get bored with stuff like that, but it sidetracked me for longer than it should have. So, anyways. Yeah, so I'll send you the waveforms, Kuba, and I'll show you. Are you on IATN? Yeah, well, Keith, send me something in Google Hangouts so I have your contact info, and we'll work on this offline because it's baffling. It screws with my head. So anyhow, yes, that's what it sounds like, Wes. But I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. Oh yeah, Joe, I will certainly. I'll put together the information I collected. I have it in a file. I have the cranking patterns when the engine was cold, and then I also have the cranking pattern when the engine was warm, and the cranking to starting sequence. So you can see the pattern upside down. The second the truck starts, you'll see it invert, and the truck runs fine. Super bizarre. Wish I could explain it. I can't because I'm not an electrical engineer. I just try to fix cars the best I can. And some of that stuff I can't explain. I just say, forget about it. I don't know why. Just boom. No, it's not a scanner problem, TG4360, because I'm actually have a lab scope on it. So we're just looking at the raw data going into the ECM. And the only reason I noticed it is because I was diagnosing, the no start, and that was it. And yeah, so that's that. Scope leads were connected at the ECM and grounded to the battery. Let's see. Yeah, forget about it. Forget about it. That's what they say downstate. Up here, we're like, whatever. Where are we at here? It is typically a pull-up. Goes from low to high. Yeah, forget about it. Do I do alignment? I do alignments. I got some videos on them. I don't do them in-house, but I do alignments, yes. I do not have any BMW videos or any really, no, I have one BMW video from a really long time ago, like a 7 Series or something with a lean code in it. Long time ago. Yeah, no, we don't have them around here. We don't have many people that drive European cars. It's kind of funny. I had one in the shop today, a Volkswagen. So get this. This was kind of hilarious. So the neighbor lady over here, she's got a little white Volkswagen. I don't even know what year it was. And they were going to the Walmart to get tires. So she takes her V-dub in. She buys the tires, these Goodyear Viva 3s or whatever they are, Walmart tire. And the Walmart guy takes it in, and not trying to disrespect Walmart mechanics or whatever they want to be called, takes the car in and they're like, hey lady, you got these special wheel locks, do you have a tool for them? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. At any rate, they're like, well, we can't do it because you got a wheel lock and we need special tools. So she calls me up, says, hey, do you have the tool to take the wheels off V-dubs? And I was like, well, if you're missing the wheel lock, we can get the stud out, but we'll have to buy new studs, 4 of them. Okay, makes an appointment. Her husband drops off the tires. She brings in the V-dub and she's like, hey, I went to Advance Auto and I got the tool. And she comes out with like this little triple square. And I'm like, I said, that's not the tool. I says, it might look like that, but it'll be a lot bigger. She's like, no, this fits perfect. And you know what? Anybody that works on Volkswagens knows what they're talking about now. On V-dubs, they got the little black caps that go over top of the wheel nuts, or the wheel bolts in this case. And you use a 90-degree pick, and you stick it in the hole, and you pop all these plastic caps off. So that's what Walmart was looking at. They couldn't figure out how to get the black caps off the wheel bolts, and that was it. And they do have a little hole in the middle that looks like a triple square. So they were pretty upset about that because she pulls in. I look on the party and I'm like, well, let me see. You grab a pick. I go out there and pop them all off just to see if she really did have a wheel lock on it, but she didn't. So it worked out good. Just needed a 17 millimeter and a 90-degree pick. But it was kind of funny. I don't work on a lot of Volkswagens, but all of the ones that I do work on all have those black plastic caps. So yep. So that was kind of her thought. She's like, are you serious? Is that all it takes? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, these are just caps. So she's like, well, I'm not going back there to have them put tires on. So needless to say, I got the tire job on it. Yep. So that's that. I think that's all the stories I have. Oh, and then I've got is the scope AC coupled? Well, I mean, it always measures AC voltage, but I didn't have it intentionally AC coupled, no. So there is a tool to remove those plastic caps, really. That's interesting because, I mean, I just take a 90-degree pick, stick it in the hole, and they just pop right off. They're not really held on that tight. So, like I said, I don't really work on V-dubs anyways. And then that Buick over there, so that's an 05 LeSabre. I'm waiting to get the heads back. Roger's had my heads for a while now. And that thing came in with a customer complaint of, no heat. And no heat meant it had no antifreeze in it, and it was going right out the tailpipe. And before anybody asks, the intake is good. It did have a blown head gasket. I tested it for CO2 in the coolant, and it failed like immediately. So I pulled the heads on it, and I have never seen an engine block so full of rust. It was literally full of rust up to the level of the head gasket. So when the engine's in there on a V pattern, you got your upper coolant ports around the cylinders, and then the lower ones, and it was literally full to the top. The radiator is full, so I had to throw radiators in the garbage. You could take the upper and lower hose off it, and I just took them off, set them to the side, and when they dried out, and you could just squeeze them and break all the rust apart and dump it out. It was a freaking mess. So I pulled the heads, and then had to took the pressure washer, took the car outside, covered all the cylinders, and had to cover the intake. It took forever. And then took the pressure washer, 3,800 PSI, and put the straight jet nozzle on it. Hit the old Honda GX, just full throttle. Went right down in them ports and was blasting it out. And it was like this beautiful stream of rust. And got the block cleaned out. Absolutely beautiful. I'm super happy with the way it turned out. And blasted all the crap out of the heater core and had the water pump off and everything on the timing cover. So the thing is absolutely spotless now. But what a friggin' mess that was. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't worse than the Extreme Pontiac, Paul, because this was actually like flaky rust. It wasn't sludge. And that's the thing. The inside of the engine, like in the valley and the crankcase and stuff, is absolutely, mirror finish, spotless. But the rust is just insane inside that block. Yeah, no, it wasn't sludgy at all. It still had Dexcool in it, but that's that. Yeah, I figure it probably had a lot of water in it or lack of service on the coolant, and then it just, of course, I don't know what you guys see, but I noticed when no, it didn't seem to have any sealer in it. I'm assuming more, water concentration, but I've seen here in my experience, particularly on Fords, I used to see this a lot. They'd get a water leak, the engine would overheat, and for whatever reason, it reacted with the casting for some reason, getting low, and people put water in it, and then they overheat it, and whatever rust was in there, it would just crack it all loose, and it was next to impossible to flush it out because it would all settle in the bottom of the block. So in some cases, I would, knock out a soft plug or pull the drains out of the block, but it's like you never get it. I think that's why, like, Chris Fix is able to make 5 or 6 different videos on flushing coolant in his Ranger or his Mazda, because we used to see that a lot with like Mazda 3-liter or Ford 3 and 4 liters. For whatever reason, the insides of their blocks were always super, super rusty, and you could flush and flush and flush. And, you get it coming out like spotless. 3 months later, it's as dark as a pocket again. So, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm guessing, between the water and, water and the overheat, but yeah, that's it. What else did I run into? Oh, I run into something else interesting. I had to get 2 exhaust manifold studs for that. And they were a combination. They were 5/16 coarse thread on one side and 8/125 on the other side of the stud. Ordered them from GM. They came through wrong studs because they've been discontinued. Awesome. They've got a new updated design that has a stud nut built right into it. It's kind of a weird looking thing. So I've got a couple of them, but other than that, the job went pretty well. Yo, what's up, Ivan? How old is it? It's a 2005. Anyways, Harbor Freight Impact. Yes, good news. The Harbor Freight Impact is no longer over here. Well, one of them is. Not the OG. This one is from 12/17. The one from 11/18, right? 11/18? No, 11/17 is gone. It is on its way to the Great White North, to the AVE channel. I sent him my impact and the battery that goes with it for the tune of about $65 to ship that little guy, because I put on the package that it has a lithium battery. Arrest me now. That was about a 3-day ordeal trying to get that shipped out of the country. because he lives outside of the US of A. I can't tell you where, and I can't tell you his name because I took a vow of secrecy to never reveal that, so nobody knows who AVE is or where he lives. So that is on the way to AVE, and hopefully he does the teardown video on it. We've been speaking back and forth in emails, and I think it's going to be really neat to see what it looks like after a year of real shop use. Of course, the bottom of it was broke, the battery had broke. So it'll be great, if he tears into it and sees like, these things really hold up, or it's just not skookum. But yeah, the first rule of AVE is don't talk about AVE. Yeah, everybody knows who he is, but they don't really know his name or where he lives. So, or what AVE even stands for. But I have that information now in my steel trap, and you'll never get it out of me. I think he threatened he would kill me, perhaps. He didn't, but seems like a cool guy. As long as his camera's focusing. But I couldn't believe it was such a pain in the hoo-ha to send that. So I tell the lady at the post office, she's like, what are you sending? I was like, well, it's a tool because you got to fill out the customs form, Oh, okay, I'll get to that in a minute, Kuba. I had to fill out the customs form. Geez, I lost track of time here, or thought. And, does it have a battery in it? Yes, it has a battery. Now, I've shipped items with lithium-ion batteries or batteries in general within the continental USA. Not a big deal. You go to ship it outside, lady's like, gets out the rule book. We're going through the rule book. She says, you need to have these special stickers on it. I get the special stickers. She says they have to be on visible from all sides of the box. So that's 6 sides on a box, in case you didn't know. I put them all over the box. I take it back the next day, customs form filled out, stickers on it, everything's good to go. Get a new guy, well, a different guy than I had. Take them there, boom, that guy's like, no, you don't need those stickers. All those stickers have to come off the box. Take all the stickers off the box. What kind of battery is it? How many watt hours is it? How big is it? How many cells are in it? What's your blood type? So we do all that. So I fill out the paper, 72 watt hours. It's 2 cells. It's this big. I had another battery. I just went, I'm like, oh, what is it? It's this one right here. Here's what's in my package. It says right here, 72 watt hours, number of cells, everything's here. Guess what? I don't believe you. Now he's got to look at it. So I'm going to take the package. We've got to open up the package at the post office. And then he says, well, we can't tape it. We can't tape it back shut because you can't use my tape because tape costs money. At this point, some rude DMV joke came out of my mouth, and it just, I don't know. Long story short, all the paperwork is filled out. I've paid my $60-some, whatever it was, to ship it. The package is taped back up with my tape. That also costs money. And it is on its way to a land unknown, which I can't speak of. And hopefully, through all of this, we get a video review from AVE on it. Keep your lookout for that. Keep on the lookout for that. Keep your eyes peeled. So that's that. So I guess if you're ever shipping something with a battery, just don't tell them. That is not sage advice, and you can probably be incarcerated for it. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. So JC Smith's up in here. Yeah, I tell you what, JC, he finally said at the end of it, like, look, I'm not trying to make life hard on you. And I'm like, I just wish we could all agree on the rule book. When somebody says one thing, this lady says you have to have this. Now you're saying this. Who the frig knows? I don't even know if it's going to get there. Because at the end, I didn't put no insurance or nothing on it. It was like, ship it. It wasn't, it was USPS is what it was. Yeah, I'm telling you, Bob, that's just the way it is. There it is, baby. I forgot to turn the compressor off. Deal with it. Let me go shut that off. Be right back. There. I just do that to piss people off. Let's see. You guys want to read? So we got a little bit of mail here. We can zippy zap through some mail and whatnot. You want to do that? Have I used the new files? Yes, I have. Oh, and Kuba asked about that. Somebody else asked about the lady who received the Ford. She has put 5,000 miles on it. What have I done? Shortly after giving it to her, like a week later, the money light came on. I check it out. It had what was it? Incorrect purge flow, some evap code, and long story short, it needed a new fuel tank pressure sensor. So I bought that and put that baby on, and everything's been great ever since. What else was it? Oh yeah, so everything's been great since. She hit 5,000 miles on it, brought it in for its first oil change. We changed oil on it. That thing did not burn a drop of oil in 5,000 miles. I was super stoked about that. I mean, it was like dead on the full line, so that was great. And everything's been good. So just had that fuel tank pressure sensor that puked in it, and then that was it. Other than that, been driving it, loving it. So are we going to do mail call, or what are we going to do? You guys got to let me know. Yeah. Yeah, no, she's doing really well. Still super grateful to get the car, and it's been, just a huge blessing for her. So, we're happy about that, and I'm happy the fact that it has worked out great. And of course, she's going to buy the 2 tires to match. We're going to do the mail. She's going to buy the 2 tires to match the 2 that we saved off it originally. So this spring here, and I don't know, whenever spring's going to get here, it's probably like another month, we'll be putting the 4 summer tires back on it. So that's that. Got some envelopes here. We'll zippy zap through these. First one, where is it? This one comes from Cody. You guys can check him out on YouTube. Cody's Auto Diagnostics. Maybe Kuba or Astar or any of you guys can put a link to Cody's channel. Focus. He sent me a sticker, super sweet sticker. I'll be smacking that on the box. So if you could put a link up there for Cody's channel, Kuba, guys, go check him out. Super smart fella. Did not send a note. He's over in the Arizona where cars don't rust ever. Let's see. They'll put a link up to his channel. So just stand by. Stand by. We'll put a link to Cody's channel. I can get it, but I'm going to screw everything up. There we go. New Level got it. Joe got it. Check him out. Just getting started in the YouTube. Like I say, super sharp guy. He's in our Google Hangouts chat, along with a lot of the other YouTube mechanics out there. We're all in chats together, and we chat back and forth and say a lot of inappropriate stuff most of the time, especially Glenn. He's always putting up really sketchy stuff, but it's kind of funny. This one comes from a guy named, I think it's Eric. I think that's his name. I got his last name. It is. His name is Eric. Automatically know. Nice guy. And he writes, greetings from Texas, Eric Owen family. Hope you and yours are doing well and business is good. Enjoy watching the vids on my lunch break. Thought I'd write a letter in hopes you can help me out and the little woman out. Apparently in Texas, they got little women. This guy does anyways. Yes, the dreaded, my son's first car. And where do you suggest this for models with the best track record? I know you service all makes and models, except for European cars. We'll throw that in there. And we'll be able to suggest what is good and what is run away. And what is runaway when it comes to a kid's first car. Since our climate is a little more sunny and warm, we don't have the rust issues to deal with. Think budget would be around 10K or less here in Texas used car market. Feel free to call or email at 555-5785. That's not his real number, so don't call him. Love always, Eric. I think geographically, I may not be able to answer the question because I believe that how do I want to say it? My thoughts on cars and what breaks on them is greatly tainted by the environment I live in and the amount of rust and garbage that I see. So I was thinking about this today a little bit. A lot of the problems that I fix that are, let's say, repeat failures on a specific car make are oftentimes due to rust. The majority, at least 80% of the problems I fix in general, are rust and corrosion problems. So that makes me, I'll discriminate one car line, like, Chryslers, like they're absolute garbage. Like I hate Dodge and Chrysler products in general. They're like bottom of the bucket from what I see just in quality and, longevity. And there could be somebody that lives in Arizona. It's like, oh, I got, 9 zillion miles on my Dodge Caliber, where like here they last about 80,000 miles and they're garbage. It's a difficult question to answer. I like my Jap cars. I like my Honda. You can't say the word Jap on YouTube. Just FYI, somebody will lose their mind. We can say USA, short for United States of America, but we can't say Jap, that is short for Japanese, because that is all of a sudden racist. So pardon the racism for a minute. I like Jap cars. I like my Hondas. I like my Toyotas. I like my Korean cars, like my Kias, Hyundais. So a $10,000 budget is humongous. First of all, he must be a really good kid because I would not spend $10,000 on my kid's first car because good probability he's going to crash it into something. And I guess with all that being said, if you're looking for economy, something that is cheap to fix, I would be looking in the lines of like Hyundai Elantra, Toyota Corollas, Camrys, Civics, Accords. You have a lot of options at the $10,000 market or less. Even if you're looking in domestics, you look at, even like, if you bought like a Chevy Cobalt. So yeah, so some of the Ecotechs have, chain problems and this and that, but that's usually from lack of maintenance, but they're super duper cheap to fix. Engines are a dime a dozen, brakes are cheap, wheel bearings are cheap, tires are cheap. So I would look in the lines of that. I would be looking like 4-cylinder, 4-door. That's a tough question. My thoughts on cars are very clouded just from what I see here. I see a lot of customers that drive junk cars and things fall apart and they're not maintained. I would probably start doing some research on the internet. Lots of good sites out there where you can say, look at they do reviews on the used car market, these cars that are 6 or 7 years old, numbers of problems they've had, and kind of sort it out that way. I'd probably be looking at something like that. I definitely wouldn't be asking me for advice other than don't buy a Chrysler or a Jeep for the kid. So especially if you want him gone and want him to drive away under his own power. Yeah. You're probably going to get more help over here in the chat than you will any advice from me. I don't know. I don't follow cars that heavily. There's guys that are like super car junkies. They'll tell you what generation it is and this and that and all this different stuff. And I'm just like, it's a car. It's broke. I really don't care what it is. It's probably not a good night to talk to me about this kind of stuff. Yeah, the Ford Fusions are super solid. So, yeah, I mean, Scotty Kilmer is going to tell you about a Toyota Corolla, 1994. And because that's the only car I think that he likes ever in the world. Or a Bugatti Veyron, yes. I think he's going to need a few more. The $10,000 won't even cover the first oil change on that car. No, I don't have any attitude, Philip. It's just I don't want to say that I've lost some of my love for cars. I love my job. I love what I do. But it does get to you after a while. I work on broken cars all day long. Today we did, what do we have on our schedule? We had like 17 cars. And I just don't look at them as like I used to, like when I worked for my dad. And, you know, now it's just, you know, I mean, it's a job. You know, we bring a car in, it's broke, I fix it. I don't care if it's a 4th gen, 2nd gen, if this engine was made at this certain point. Some guys really get into that, like, oh, this engine was the one that was made in Detroit, and, you know, this half-year production cutoff, they were made over here, and these ones had a, you know, certain casting flaws. Like, you know, the engine light's on, let's just fix the car and get it outside. You know, that's it. That's just kind of how I look at it. So, yeah, I guess that's it. But I do love my job, and I love working on cars, and I have a passion for it. It's just, I just don't know about all the very specifics of specific cars, I guess. I don't even know what generation my Toyota is, nor do I know what generation my Jeep is, or the Sedona. Don't know, don't care, because they start and they run and they drive. 17 cars. Yeah, but there was 2 of us. It was me and Josh today. So he's here for the week. Yeah, so when, you know, a lot of service work and tires, and then we had a S10 come in, a 99 S10, everything brand new. He had a gas leak, and I looked at it last week, and we did a tank, pump, lines, sending unit, filler neck, the whole shebang. That baby came out with a Sawzall. Yeah, does it go forward? Does it go backwards? Is the light off? Ship it. Exactly, Keith. I think we get to that point. Now, some guys who are like car enthusiasts who don't work full-time on cars, or perhaps they do, but let's say it's just one car line, then, you know, you can be a little more, you know, detail-oriented. And that's what I like about some of my viewers, because a lot of them are, you know, you'll put up a problem with, you know, with a car, and they'll be like, oh, you know, they know something very specific about it, which is pretty neat. I just don't have that kind of time. So that's that. We got another letter here from a fella. I think Dave. Yes, Dave. And he writes, thanks for taking the time to share your experiences, hints and tips. Love always, Dave. Here's some stickers for your toolbox. Evidently, he is on YouTube, and he is from Ireland, and these are his stickers. So you can check him out on YouTube. Never seen his videos, or at least I don't recognize it. I watch a lot of car-related videos on the YouTube, so you guys can check him out. DJ Sterling. I think his YouTube name is DJ Sturl. So you leave off the ing, and then you got his YouTube name. Check him out. Leave off the ing. Did I miss anything over here? People are probably ripping me apart right now. Oh, somebody got deleted. Kuba got him. Bam. Oh, that's an Alfa Romero logo. See, I didn't know that. Never worked on an Alfa or a Romero. So I would definitely be putting the stickers up, because I'm kind of a sticker guy. Locker room talk. Oh, we're all good? Okay, good. I need a message. Oh, a massage. Yeah, it's the special kind. We'll see about that. What do we got here? Got another one. Where's this one from? This one came all the way from Arizona, halfway across the planet. This is the big one. I haven't read these yet, so hopefully, hopefully they're not bad calling me an a-hole. We'll find out. And he writes, just wanted to say, keep up the good work on your channel, as I watch pretty much daily. Can't tell you how much money you've saved me, and the more confidence it's given me to repair my own vehicles. I only have 2 questions to ask. Oh boy. I purchased a used 2015 Chevrolet last year, Silverado, with about 28K. Ran great for about 3 months, went and had electrical issues. The dash would flicker, the radio would turn off, AC would go from high to low, and this would happen if you made a turn of any kind, then the engine would die. Found out it had electric power steering, which I didn't know Chevy started doing. Long story short, after talking to an electrical shop, YouTube advice, adding ground wires everywhere and replacing ground from battery turned out to be a bad positive cable, which a friend from the Chevrolet garage told me to replace. All my problems have since went away. I know it's hard to ask you, but no one could tell me why it was the positive cable, as it looked brand new when I took out the old one. Well, the only thing I could assume is voltage drop. That's what it would sound like if the battery positive cable wherever it went and however its relationship was with the electronic power steering. It sounds like when you steer, which is a very high amperage draw device, it was creating voltage drop in the entire positive circuit, creating other things to go wonky, like your AC to go from high to low, your dash lights flickering, stuff like that. I could only assume that you had voltage drop on that cable. If indeed it looked good. The only way to tell would be to install the new one. If it still did it with clean, tight connections, the only thing you could do is do a voltage drop from the battery to wherever it ends, whether that went to a junction. I'm not familiar with these, if it went to a junction or if it went to the starter and then, everything branched out from there. You had voltage drop somewheres. It's as simple as that. So yeah, that's all I can tell you. And you can have voltage drop on the ground side or the positive side, the negative or the positive. You can have voltage drop on either one. I think we've done some videos on it where we've shown examples of Chevrolets doing some really wonky stuff with a bad, chassis ground when it goes from the body to the frame and from the frame to the block. We did a video on that. Not super uncommon. Anyways, so GM Tech Kyle says excessive voltage drop. Yep. Yeah, Big Clive says, and he's a smart fella and has a great beard. Even with a great looking cable, it's all down to the connections. A dirty or oxidized connection has high resistance at low voltage. Yes, that's right. And a lot of times as heat is built up, your resistance can go up also. And that's why the Load Pro test tool is an absolute piece of garbage, because it cannot compensate for that. Where you can have a circuit that has acceptable voltage drop at low voltage, low current. However, when that circuit turns on, and it's a high amperage device like a power steering motor, and there is a little bit of corrosion just to get that going, and you get some heat build up, the heat builds up, there's more resistance, and the whole circuit goes to pot, but only once it gets hot. So that is why the Load Pro by Dan Sullivan is a piece of garbage, in my opinion. That's strictly my opinion. So, and that's why we do voltage drops with the load in place, or the intended load in place, or a substituted load that is drawing the same amount of current as the intended load. So let's say you want to do a voltage drop on a starter circuit, but the starter's bad. When you got the starter out, you put your toaster on there, or your carbon pile tester as we call them, and you load that circuit. You put 300 amps on that baby, just nuke it. And with the starter out, boom. We did a video on that. I did it on my Jeep. I showed you. Does the connections at the starter, the ground to the block, the starter cable itself, can it carry current? Thanks, Blazer. That's not just my opinion. Can it carry current? And the only way to do that is keep the load in place, keep the connectors in place. Everything has voltage drop, every connection, every relay, every fuse. And, some tools like the Load Pro, you remove the load. And it's stupid. You start doing open circuit testing, you're going to go down a rabbit trail every single time, 100% guaranteed, period. And that's just my opinion. And you know what opinions are like? They're like a-holes. Everybody's got one. Some of them stink. That's what they tell me. Let's see here. Second question from Glenn is, when do we get a toolbox tour? Also, please find enclosed a used Arizona license plate. Nothing cool or unique about it. Just haven't seen anyone give you one yet. Love always, Glenn. And here it is from the Grand Canyon state of Arizona, the Arizona license plate. So thank you for that, Glenn. We will put it with the license plate collection. And at some point, as promised, I am going to get started. The projector is in the office. So we will get started on that. Can anyone confirm Eric email SMA What's Up Wednesday outlook.com? That is correct, Kuba. That is where you can send the emails for What's Up Wednesday. I haven't popped that out in a while. I did, Superminer 66. I did say no more plates until we get our license plate America and outlying countries up on the wall. So please don't send plates. I do appreciate it, but I want to get that started so we can find out what plates we're lacking in. So confirmed. Where are we at here? Next. No more plates, no more space. Yeah, we have space. I just don't want to end up with like a bazillion duplicates. This one here is from Illinois. Is that the abbreviation IL, Illinois? Or is that another state that starts with the letter I? Was there Illinois, Indiana? I can't think of anything. No, Illinois. That's Chicago. What am I, moron? Illinois. Yeah, no. I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. Anyways, it is Illinois. Let's read. Right? Are we good? Illinois. Do they say Illinois or Illinois? I don't know how to say it. Idaho. Idaho. Anyways, I got to stop talking. I'm getting way too tired for this. Red Bull is wearing down. Let's see. And he writes, I've been watching your videos for quite a while now and always enjoy your good-natured banter while you work on the little guys. I know you like knives, so I'm enclosing a dovetail I've chipped out of piece of obsidian. You'll be surprised how well a stone, or in this case, volcano glass knife will cut. Just don't drop it onto concrete or linoleum. Never know, you might want to go caveman. Have you ever taken and welded a bead inside a bearing race to shrink it out of a hub? Little trick Meemaw showed me. Always keep up the good work. Love always, Tom. First of all, let's check out this knife. First, we're going to have to break out this knife. It's the Mac 2. It's the new warranty one. Super tight, like a tiger. Slit here. Even has instructions on it. Open carefully and slit here. Oh, that's only half a slit. Full slit. Open carefully. I'll open it towards you guys in case it explodes. Oh, look at that. Oh, it must have rotated in the package. Look at that. This is a real obsidian volcano glass. So this thing is almost transparent. Maybe you guys can see it. Let's do this. Is that pretty wild or what? Makes me want to go skin a deer with it. That is super cool. He said he chipped it out of a piece of volcano glass. And it looks like I can even put a stick on it and wrap it with deer hide and make it spear. Wow, it's pretty pointy. Pretty much just shaved with it. That is super cool. Wow. And it is pretty, it's almost like serrated. It is pretty sharp. You could probably stab someone with it or something. Or if I ever go to prison, I can keep it for a shank. Wow. That's pretty sweet. So check that out, guys. He said he chipped it out of volcano glass, obsidian. He must live near. How do you get a piece of volcano glass in Illinois? Do they have volcanoes in Illinois? Or do you just order the glass online? I'm really questioning where this guy lives. So that's super cool, Tom. Well, thank you for that. And I guess to answer your next question, have I ever welded a bead to get out a bearing race? Absolutely. So what he's talking about, if you are unfamiliar with this, is blind bearing races, or I call them blind bearing races. So let's say you're taking apart a transfer case or, transmission case or something, and there's a bearing race pressed inside of it, and it's completely flat, and there's no way to get to the back side of the bearing race to get it out. You're like, how in the thunder am I going to get this out? Well, when you use your MIG welder, if you've done any MIG welding, let's say you're just welding a piece of T, a piece of flat steel, and you weld it here, and the weld cools, and it goes, all of a sudden your piece moves because the weld shrinks. So what you do is you take your case that has the bearing race in it, you fry a bead of weld all the way around in a circle in that bearing race, you let it cool, which usually happens pretty quick, then you take it upside down and you shake it out because that weld shrinks and it sucks that bearing race in. It gives it the old suck job. And then it falls right out because it shrinks. So, oh, I really want to use that knife to open up something, but I don't want to break it either. So that's it. That's how you do that. Yeah, it works every time. It's a cool little trick. Meemaw taught me that. His Meemaw taught him that, and my Meemaw taught me too. We may have the same Meemaw. Got another one here. Ooh, this guy has fantastic penmanship. Must be an engineer, you know, very blocky. Like when you did, used to have to do drawings in school. Let's see. I haven't read this one, so hopefully it's not naughty. They are sharp, not strong. Oh, okay. All you got to do is one shank, get it in, snap it off, right? I've seen that on a movie once. We won't do that. Here we go. And he writes, I won't use social media, and I couldn't find an email address, but I wanted to see, I wanted to send you a few items anyways. A, these are itemized to totally an engineer. I'm guessing, I may be totally wrong. A, semicolon. On one of your Toyota videos, you had to pry off the timing cover and had some problems. Maybe these plastic shims will help. Apparently there's plastic shims in the box. B, semicolon. I have seen you, Mrs. O, chewing gum, so I figured some sugarless gum might be useful. Must be gum in the package. C, when breaking loose stuck items, it is the difference in temperature that matters most. If you spray something cold like brake cleaner, question mark, on the inner part while heating the outer, you should be able to break it loose or have a huge ass fire. Brake cleaner heat, not gonna happen. But yes, I do know what you're talking about. And that's usually what we do when we're using the cutting torch to heat something. And unless you have a lot of torch experience and have seen this, you know, looking through dark glasses, let's say we're getting a stud out of an exhaust manifold, you know, from pipe to manifold. You got the stud in the bottom of the manifold. You heat that manifold up like, you know, ready to drip on the floor. And if you're looking through dark glasses, you can see the huge temperature difference between the stud and the actual manifold. And there is that sweet spot when you get it, when that stud still looks black, but that manifold looks like it's going to turn liquid. Zing, out she comes. But if you wait too long and you're dilly-dally around and you're heating, all of a sudden the heat transfer finally happens. And now you have two metals that are essentially the same temperature and you're in the same boat you were in, except everything's hotter now. So, so that's that. Yes. So yeah, I'm quite familiar with that. Let's see. D, semicolon. You use the term classic reach around on several videos. I don't know if you realize its meaning, but look it up online on the Urban Dictionary. I'm not familiar with that term. I will have to look that up. E. I know that it's common usage now, but if you can break the habit of saying these ones, I'd appreciate it. These is sufficient. I will keep that in mind. F. On Mazda Extreme brake rotor removal, I was surprised you let that thing fly off. Why wouldn't I? If I put lug nuts on that, it would have been the dumbest video ever. It would have went ka-tunk, just like they all do. I wanted something hardcore, even at the cost of a hose or my nads, which it came close to. I have two words for you: lug nuts. You can even put a short piece of heater hose under the nuts to absorb the impact. I'm quite aware of that, and it does state that in the instructions, which OTC let me know they weren't super happy with the video either, but I just thought it was going to be fun. Either way, it did seem to piss some people off. But, you know, whatever. That's what I do. G. I don't know whether you watch Musty One or not. Of course I do. But a week ago, he had a short video on a tool that attaches to the air chisel. Stuck screws. Not anymore. Check it out. That is called the shake and break. I've shown that in some of my videos. I have them in 3/8 and 1/2 inch as well. Great little tool. It's for just when you want to just, you know, beat the balls off a rusty bolt while having a wrench on it and turning it at the same time. Great tools. I have one only for my 401 air hammers. I've got a couple 3/8 ones and then a 1/2 inch one. Great tools. I call them the shake and break. I believe that is a brand name, like, you know, just like Channel Lock or Vice Grip. You know, we just call them the shake and break. Anyhow, so I hope all is well with you and yours. Best to Mrs. O, the kids, and the dogs. Love always. RC. So appreciate that, RC. Thank you for the sage advice. I will keep it in mind. I will look up classic reach around and whatnot. And he has sent some plastic wedgies. These are plastic wedgies for leveling toilet bowls, in case your toilet sits like this. Side hill crapper. Ribbed for stacking, not for pleasure. And they call it a closet bowl for leveling closet bowls, but they show a picture of a toilet right there. There is a picture of the crapper. I've never heard them called closet bowls. Insert one shim at a time, or one shim at a time under the low side of the toilet. Add shims as necessary until the toilet is level and firmly in place. Shims can be stacked or cut as needed. Closet bowls. Have you guys ever heard of a toilet bowl called a closet bowl? That's kind of fun. Go to somebody's house. Hey, where's your toilet? That's over there in the closet. Where do you keep yours? And these are some 8-inch composite shims. So these are going to be like composite shims for like if you're putting in a door or a window and a rough opening and you need to shim it, but these are composite ones. Maybe for use with composite material. Water closet, it's a UK thing. Water closet, really? No kidding. Plumber speak. Angular poo, yeah. So these are just plastic wedgies of a composite material. Usually for building, you know, you would insert them. You know, you got your door jamb and your rough opening, and you're using it. You're plumbing it up, making sure it closes. Put them in, and trim them off. These may be very useful. I'm going to put them in with my plastic prying devices. It's a dunny in Oz. They call it a dunny. Water closet has a closet bowl. Huh, we've always called it a toilet. The toilet or the crapper. Yep. Water closet in Europe. Anyways. You've heard that term too, Kuba? Huh. Anyways, we'll oh, those won't rot like cedar shims. That's what Glenn says. And he's a carpenter fella, so he would know. So if you got some stuff to shim, Glenn, I got you. Or if you ever got to do some carpentry type work. And then there's also multiple packs of Tridents. Cleans, protects, sugar-free. I'm going to indulge into some of that. The potty, yeah. Yeah, our kids always call it potty. I go pee-pee on the potty. I still tell them that all the time because they used to always announce to us when they had to go to the bathroom. I got to go pee-pee on the potty. So I still, at age 39, announce each time that I have to go pee-pee on the potty. And they still roll their eyes at me. And I'll probably do it until my ripe old age. And perhaps when they're older and have their own homes, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pee all over their toilet seat and all over everything. Just for payback. And then tell them, it wasn't me. Yep, the loafer. Yep, that's what I'm going to do to my kids. I'm going to go in their house. I'm going to open every door in the kitchen, all the doors in the kitchen. I'm going to leave the fridge popped open a little bit. I'm going to turn on every single light, any device that makes noise, and I'm going to pee on their toilet seat. And then I'm going to go home. And I'm going to do that for years and years and years. Each night, each day when they go to work, I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm not saying I haven't missed in the middle of the night, but children are just, I don't know what they do. I'm like, did you try? Like, dude, it's this big around. You're this tall. You're way closer than I am. How do you miss? Yeah. Where are we at now? Yeah, not in the fridge. I'm not in the fridge, Clive, that's for sure. Let's see what we got. What did I miss? That's fantastic. Now, where are we at here? Yeah, urinal. If I tell you what, if I ever built, well, our house is not that old. When our house was built, I requested urinals. It would be great to have a urinal. Where are we at here? This came from the Amazon from a guy named Zach, and he writes, I know you're not a big fan of W.U.W Audi, But I always know you like tools nearly as much as but I also know you like tools nearly as much as I do. This tool is helpful on those Eurotrash electrical connectors. I use mine all the time. Love always, Zach, engineer, mechanic, and fan. And this is some kind of connector release tool, perhaps for Volkswagen, Audi, and other European cars. I'm not familiar with it. The next time I get one in, I'm going to try to jam it into a connector and yank it off. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to see. Maybe perhaps if I can see how it functions, or I can just Google it. It is called a U-tool, electrical service tool, connector remover for badge, W.W. Audi, Porsche. Sold by U-tool. Yeah, I've never seen one either. Maybe Keith has. He works on a lot of Volkswagen. Dude, Smitty, you have a heated toilet seat and a soft close and backlit? Wow. That's a fantastic toilet. I see, I was watching a Good Mythical Morning the other day, and both Rhett and Link have automatic closing, automatic washing, lighted heated toilet seat toilets with, and I think Rhett had a bidet in his that gives you the old wash job when you're done. Wow, backlit. Wow, that'd be something. So that way there, my kids could see when they're peeing on the toilet. It's just the boys. Trinity doesn't have a problem. Obviously, girls sit down. I don't want to ask my boys to sit down. I don't want to degrade them at all, but yeah, I do have some toilet envy, Bill. I'm not gonna lie. $600 toilet seats. We have two toilets in our house, and what's brown and sticky as stick. One is the high rider. I'm not a big fan of that. You sit with 90-degree, knees. Well, your knees are bent, but you're not like full potty squatty. Like, I like a low rider. But the big tall one is for it has a bigger opening for the big logs. There's no log jams in that one. I don't really like it because it sits too high, Yeah. And then somebody sent us a new Jeep hat in the back. No note, no nothing. It just randomly showed up. No Amazon receipt, no anything. Didn't even say where it came from. It says it came from Outdoor Life, Funny Outdoor Life in Kentucky. So whoever sent it, appreciate it. Thank you. Don't know who it was. Try to send a letter next time. What did Clive say? Somebody LMAO'd him. These modern toilets in the wider angles. Yeah, you gotta watch the kickback on some potties. The big tall ones, you get too high and you get splashback. What they need to do, maybe Clive can do this. He likes to do experiments on his channel and different things like that. But I think what you need to have is a toilet. Oh, the heck with it. I'll open it in a minute. I think when the log, I don't know a more appropriate word, comes down and hits the water, or you're getting splashback from the number one or the number two, I think it's because it goes through and it breaks the surface tension of the water, and then it comes back. So I'm curious to know if they had a toilet that had, let's say, an agitator in it, something that already broke the surface tension of the water. I could be thinking about it wrong, but I'm thinking that would stop the kickback that you get, or the potential splashback. I don't know. I would like to see a company come up with that, something that has a, water agitator in it to help do that. I may be wrong. Maybe Clive can know. He's a pretty smart fella. High-speed rotating blade. Well, you wouldn't want the boys to get too close to that. But that might work also. But I'm thinking that may help in the splashback scenario. I'm not sure. I could probably get something to do that. Maybe like that thing that Vanessa uses for like chopping up stuff. It's round. You stick it down. It's got little blades in it. That may agitate the water enough to, to find out. I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought about the aerator too, Kevin, like you say. And but I think that might, that puts up the little bubbles in like a fish tank aerator. Oh, wait a minute. W.U.W to 090. Just put a piece of toilet paper over the water surface to do your business. No splashback. That's a pretty good idea. That's interesting. Yeah, that would also stop the splashback. But I'm thinking like something hands-free. You just walk up to it, boom, it senses you're there. Water agitates. You do your thing, boom, you're done. If they come out, oh, the electric toothbrush. That's right, Bob. We do have those at home. The ultrasonic. That would send some ultrasonic waves across it. Gotcha. I'm getting some ideas, folks. I'll let you know how it works, whose toothbrush I used, or if I used the grinder thing. Yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah. You guys are going to try this. Just poop you can't poop in the shower. You have to step on that thing for 20 minutes to get it down. We all know that. Anyhow, I'm not sure how this conversation has swayed into the how to get splashback from your toilet combo, but it has, as our chats often do, get derailed from live drug tests to, you name it. Half flush the toilet, make the water low. I don't know. I don't think making the water low is the right call, because then there's more room for drop. Yeah. Yeah, next subject. Anyway, somebody come up with something. That's it for mail call. So thank you, folks, for the mail call, the kind letters, the suggestions. I will try not to say, what am I supposed to not to say? I will stop saying these ones and just say these. So how can I implement that? Where would I say that? Like, these ones over here, I will now say these over here. And that'll stop a lot of the annoyances that roll off my tongue. Let's see. Do I ever get any Aveos in the shop? We do. I've been doing some timing belts on them babies as of recently. Use guys. I think that's a Canadian thing, TG. Hey, use guys over here. Yes, and we will no longer be saying, I will always say Japanese. Foreign, I guess. What do we got here? Oh, let's see. Favorite carburetor? I wouldn't know, Robert. A car without one is always my favorite. Never had a favorite one. I always enjoyed rebuilding Carters or Motorcraft carburetors because they were super simple. Quadrajets were, they were okay, but just more complicated. Not really complicated, just more kibbles and bits in them. Carters and Ford Motorcraft carburetors, they were always super easy. Never really had a favorite. Again, it was just more of a, a service car comes in, you're doing a carb rebuild on it, yank it off, strip it down, put it in the agitating dunk tank for a couple hours, take it out, put it together, tune it, ship it. So, yeah, everybody's going to go nuts. Like, oh, I'm a quadrajet guy. I'm a feedback carburetor guy. I'm a thermal quad guy. Like, whatever. Yeah, Weber carved. Yeah, whatever. They all, they were good. They're all good when they work, whether, vacuum secondaries or mechanical secondaries. It just, they were usually in old boat cars anyways. Is it 9:15 already? What time did we start? How are we doing here, folks? Anybody know how long we've been on? About an hour. So we'll give it a little bit more in 88 minutes, they're saying. Yeah, I'm glad that the whole carburetor days are behind me. I was kind of a young buck at the time. I was pretty good at looking at exploded diagrams and rebuilding carburetors. And it just, I don't know, I understood how they worked. But that was a long time ago. That's behind me now. We like to forget about the past. Yeah, toilets and carbs both have floats. That's correct. And they both stop the water flow. Wow, I've never really made that relationship. That's true. Where are we at? I had a friend that had a carburetor on his one Chevy small block. It was a Predator. That thing was like a toilet bowl. It was square and two flaps. You open her up. It was like full throttle or nothing. It was awesome. Yeah, Walbro on a steel chainsaw. You take it off, flick it in the trash. You get your $19 one from China and you stick it on. Those are the easiest. What else do we got? Anything? Oh, I had to fix the my brand new pressure washer. So I went to the Home Depot. Was it? That's the orange and black building, right? The Home Depot, not Lowe's. Lowe's is the blue building. I went to the Home Depot. I needed a new pressure washer, so I bought one. And because all I have is I have an electric one. It's only like 1,700 psi. You know, I couldn't peel the skin off an apple. I wanted something that is going to take the pain off. So I bought me a DeWalt 3,800, 4,000 psi. It's got a Honda GX engine on it. And I mean, this thing will peel concrete. It works fantastic, except it runs super, super lean at full throttle. And it drives me bananas because you start it up and it runs good in idle. You go to full throttle, bam, 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 bam. It's just up and down and up and down. I'm like, oh my God, this is such a piece of crap because all these stupid California emissions crap, you can't, the only adjustment that's on it is for the low speed circuit in the carburetor, and everything else is fixed. And how do you know it's running lean? You cut off its air supply. So I start pulling the choke on a little bit, runs super smooth, smooth as glass. Governor, you know, you can put it under load, let off it, everything works good. You got to run it at half choke. So what that tells me is the high speed circuit in the carburetor is either A, plugged, or B, it's too small for our altitude. You know, these things are built, sold all over the world. They're all jetted exactly the same. And that's that. So I said, you know what? I'm not taking it back, because if we take it back, you got to get another one. And then you got to start it up, and it's going to be the same damn thing. You know it is. Every one they sell does it. It works good under load, full throttle, under load with the pump on. Works great. Let off it, so the engine's just freewheeling. Bam, bam, bam. You know, long story short, I double check governor adjustment. Governor adjustment's right on the money. You just pop gas tank off, you know, full throttle, turn the rod, everything's great. So I said, well, I'm going to take a look at the high-speed circuit in the carburetor, which you can get the jet out super easy. You don't have to take carburetor apart. You pull the idle screw out, and it's a little piece of plastic crap, and just pop it out of the carburetor. It has one O-ring on it. You can look through it. It's a fine hole, super fine hole. Blow through it. Hit it with the blow nozzle. Make sure everything's cool. Drain the bowl. Make sure there's no gunk in there. Put it back in. Same thing. So I said, you know what? Time to drill it out. So I took it out. I started with my small, I have like a 28 thousandths drill bit right through it because it's plastic. Drilled it out, chamfered the edges, looked through it. It looks good. I put it in, started up. Smells like burnt fuel, like just a non-catted car. It smells so good. It runs fantastic. It idles great. It works good at full throttle. Ran it at full throttle under load, no load. Ran a tank of gas through it while I was doing some pressure washing, pulled the spark plug. It looks beautiful. It looks like a nice toasted marshmallow. That's the fix. I should have done a video on it because I'm sure every single person that has one of those things is going to have that problem. And it just happened to be that my smallest torch tip cleaning drill bit happened to be the right size. So that's it. Drill that hole out, both jets contribute. So what I want to know is on the low speed side of the carburetor, they put the anti-tamper devices on there. So you can only do 1/8 of a turn, which doesn't do squat, let's be honest. I thought about taking the cutoff wheel and just, you know, grinding that off so I could, you know, adjust the low speed circuit in the carburetor. But I don't know, maybe there's a trick to get those safety caps off. It's aluminum. It's a brass screw, brass needle screw for adjusting air mixture. And it has, you know, the aluminum piece put over it with the little wings so you can adjust it. You can pry that off, Smitty. Boy, I pulled on it quite a bit, and it looked like it was going to break, possibly. It looks like it's probably held on with green Loctite. I'm thinking it has a little bit of epoxy or something around the edge of it. So, so I don't know. Yeah, send the EPA police. I'll let them use my pressure washer. They can see how great it works. I mean, that thing was, takes some force, but you can pry them off. It's tough. All right, well, we'll see. Like I say, it works fantastic now. Like I say, idle's good. High speed's good. Full load's good. So I'll probably just leave it. But yeah, torch it. Cut the tit off. That's what I was going to do, Davey. I was just going to take and so Clayton says heat it up. See, I considered that too. If it is bonded on there with, an epoxy, I thought maybe the heat would break that and I could just, pull it off. I did that on my weed whacker. Like the day I bought an Echo weed string trimmer long time ago. And that had just like plastic one. I just took a pair of side cutters, cut them both off. And now, leaner's meaner. You can make that old 2-stroke talk now. So. Let's see. Yeah, it's just garbage. And I know that these small engine manufacturers also have to meet EPA regulations, but you can't take a small engine like that is carbureted and jetted at a very specific, jetting to flow so much gas so they can get their carb certification or whatever. And you can't sell it to somebody here at 1,000 feet of elevation and sell it to somebody at 10,000 feet of elevation and expect the thing to work. It's not going to work. It even says so in the manual. It says if you live above 5,000 feet of elevation, take this pressure washer to your nearest servicing dealer and they will swap the carburetor for it. I'm like, this is stupid. What about everybody in between? So that's that. That's my rant. It doesn't have a Chanda on it, and I guess that's what the folks call their Chinese Honda. It's an actual real Honda GX motor, and I have one of those on my log splitter and on a tiller, and they both work fantastic. So, yep, that's that. The motherland of Wing Wong, that's right. But I call it my chin saw, my cheap Chinese chainsaw I bought from the UK. It's what is that thing? A Timber Pro. That is the best $200 chainsaw I've ever owned. And it is fantastic. I should do a review on it. The thing is an absolute hoss. 0 EPA emissions on it. I mean, this thing doesn't even have a spark arrestor. 20-inch bar. I don't remember how many cc's it is. It has a brake on it. It actually has a clutch brake. You mix, it still runs at a 20-to-1 oil mixture. It is awesome. It is loud. It's like 150 decibels. It is awesome. Timber Pro. You can buy them on Amazon. They had fantastic reviews, and I'm like, no way. I was like, I will spend the $200 on it just to see. And the thing is a hoss. And I know some guys will compare it like, oh, I've got a Steel or I've got an Echo or a Husqvarna or whatever. I don't care. You didn't get it for $200. And I'm going on my second year with it. I've cut a lot of wood with it. And it is awesome. It has an easy start system, like the Steels do. You pull it and it's like, and then boom, thing fires right up. I mean, this thing is old school. Cut your leg off. It is wild with a full chisel chain on it. I mean, this baby throws chips, man, and it is loud, and it is awesome, and it shakes and vibrates, and it's excellent. I'm super happy with it. But yeah, 20-to-1 mixture on it. Most of the stuff you buy in the US is like 50-to-1 and it has spark arrestors. This thing will light a log on fire. If you're cutting, let's say you're cutting a 24-inch log and you got it buried into it and you're coming down through it and all the sawdust is collecting up in front of the muffler, it will light it on fire. It's great. I mean, this is how chainsaws used to be, Yeah, so that's that. Am I blocked? If you can read this, say yes. Yes, you're not blocked. Don't worry about it. Tessa tape. Are you talking about Tessa tape? Yeah, Tessa tape's good tape. How do I decrease your workload cutting? Burn down the forest. I'm not burning down the forest, Richard. I'm just saying it'll, you light a little sawdust on fire, you're not gonna burn down the forest. Besides, I'm only cutting when it's the driest part of the year, and only dead dry trees and tall dry grass. I'm not stupid. I do run 91 in it. I run 91 octane non-ethanol in all of my small engines in my farm mall. How much money do I have invested in tools? I have no idea. You don't need a chainsaw, but now you want one. If you buy one, go on Amazon, buy yourself a Timber Pro. I should put a link. I think, is it 60 cc's or 63? I don't remember. But even the chain it came with, I was super impressed. It came with 2 chains, comes with a bag, chain file, the tools, stuff like that for basic stuff. Fully adjustable carburetor. You can turn this thing into a mosquito killing machine if you want. And I was like, oh, the chain on this thing is going to be nuked. It's just some cheap chain. I can't remember how many face cord of wood I cut. And the chain was still going strong. And I'd ran it into the dirt a couple times. Didn't hit any rocks with it. Obviously, they're not going to hold up rocks. But I was more than impressed for the price of it. Pretty wild. Of course, I don't, we burn wood in our cabin and campfires and stuff. And I don't go out and, fell trees. I only cut down, the dead trees, dead standing trees. And trees that have already fallen down, or trees that, fall down on our property, we cut them up, split them, and stack them for wood up at the cabin and stuff. So, yeah, so that's that. I'm glad we don't burn wood at home. I burned wood at home when I was a child, and we had to cut, 25 face cord of wood every single year for my entire life. And we had to do it in 2 days because we always did it on a weekend. And my dad was an animal, or is an animal, still is. And there was, us and us boys. And the funny thing is, so I'm, the last boy to leave the nest. I move out, guess what's gone? Both wood stoves. Guess what's in place of them? Pellet stoves. I'm like, how come we couldn't have that when I lived at home? I'll carry in a bag of pellets. And I remember one time my mom's making me bring in wood because we had wood boxes inside, and you had to go outside and load up a wheelbarrow and bring in wood and stack it in the wood box inside, and that was your ration for the week. I don't know, you call it your ration, but if you filled the wood box properly, you had enough wood for the week, and you didn't have to go out in the snow and get wood. And one time I was bringing it in, and I told her it was child abuse. This is child abuse, Mom. I'm going to call the child abuse hotline. My mother got the phone, and she called the child abuse hotline, or CPS, or whoever it was at the time when I was a child that you called when you were beating your kids. It was the number to call. She called them and told me to tell the lady what I had to do. And I told the lady, my mom is making me bring in firewood. The lady told me to finish bringing in firewood and listen to my parents. Nobody got arrested. So that's that. So evidently bringing in firewood was not child abuse. And needless to say, now I burn coal at home. I burn chestnut coal because we live in cold country. No more firewood, super awesome heat, and I burn coal. And what else? I also have a very fond childhood memory, very traumatic childhood memory of burning firewood. So you may or may not notice, but I have a big overbite and my teeth are all messed up. I was a thumb sucker when I was a child, so it screwed up my teeth, gives me an overbite, narrowed my jaw, all that stuff. And when I sucked my thumb as a child, I had a blankie that I was very fond of. It was a yellow one and it had silky edges. And I remember this as a very young child, kindergartenish age, I think it was. Because after that, it's not cool to suck your thumb in school. So I remember my mom, she used to wash my blankie and it would be out on the line. And I have childhood memories of going out on the line, waiting for my blankie to dry and sucking my thumb. Where am I going with this? And I know that because my mom has pictures of it still when I was just a young buck, curly hair when it was black. Long story short, I remember one fond day bringing in firewood with me and my brothers, and I was small and couldn't contribute much. But I remember at the end of that firewood bringing in experience, my blankie was gone. It was nowhere to be found. And it was some tough times for me. And of course, since then, I've grown up and adapted and overcome, and never knew what happened to Blanky. It was years later, many years later, when they thought that I could handle the emotional stress from what had happened, Blanky was found. It was in the attic of my parents' garage, in the same attic that was next to the door where we stored the wood in the wood pile. Evidently, when I wasn't looking and Blanky was set down, my mother took it and put it in the attic of the garage, a place that I would never look for Blanky. And years later, she pulled it out, and there it was. It still had the one mystery stain on it, like gum that was really dried into it. And there it was. I almost teared up a little bit. I saw it, and then it all hit me, what had happened, how it had gotten into the attic. And the truth came out. Since then, I've forgiven my parents for taking my Blanky, traumatizing me as a child, and weaning me off thumb sucking. But it was pretty tough. So I think if I was to go to a psychiatrist, deep down inside have something that I associate with firewood and bad feelings and losing my Blanky. So each time I cut wood and stack it, that memory comes back to me. It was a tough time, but I've since moved on. So that's that. Some people grow up, they have daddy issues, stuff like that. I have Blanky issues because it was, there was no discussion. There was no, you should think about giving up your Blanky. No, it was just taken from me, hidden in the attic, and no other Blanky would do. So at that point, I quit sucking my thumb. My teeth are already ruined, and part of my childhood was also. And that's that. So I don't know why we're talking about that. Probably because we were talking about firewood, chainsaws. But previously, we were talking about toilets. You never know where it's going to go. I don't know if many of you guys have. What do you think, Bob? You're shaking your head. You didn't have a Blanky growing up? Come on, man. Blanky 2020. It was yellow, approximately 4 foot by 4 foot, silky edges, and had the stain. I think it was gum. I remember this. The stain part of it was hard, and I used to rub the silk on it, rub it off. It got kind of ratty, but you know how it is with kids and their sleep props, I guess it would be, they call them. That was my sleep prop. I probably didn't sleep for days after that, but I don't really recall. Yep. Anyways, it's kind of odd what we remember. I remember that from my childhood, and then also having to pose naked when I had the chicken pox, so my mom could take a picture for the picture book. And she still has that picture. I was wearing Winnie the Pooh zip-up foot pajamas, and there I was, buck naked, wide open. And she took pictures of my chicken pox. I don't know why. Why does your mother want to take pictures of your chicken pox when you're a kid? I don't know. Stevie said he had a stuffed gray donkey. Yeah, I remember chicken pox as a kid. I didn't have them too bad. Yeah, foot pajamas. Yeah, foot pajamas were the bomb when you were a kid. I did get a pair. Vanessa got me a pair when I was older, and they were not near as great as they were when you were a child. But foot pajamas as a child were great. Yeah, I remember there were Winnie the Pooh ones. That picture would be popular on parts of the internet. I don't remember any oatmeal baths, Kyle. We had, what is the pink, the calamine lotion, that pink stuff that you put on. I don't think it does anything, but psychologically as a child, when you're itching like crazy and covered with little red spots, I think it made you feel better. Yep. Calamine lotion, that's what it was. I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard in the foot pajamas. Oh, man, I remember watching the Duke boys growing up, and that Daisy and her Daisy Dukes. Yeah, calamine just makes you look pink. Looks like you spilt some Pepto-Bismol on you. That reminds me of another story. As a child, we were on vacation in Florida. We had a Winnebago. It had a 360 Chrysler in it with a 4-barrel, and it was the old square flat nose. It was probably like early 70s Winnebago, and we decided to take a trip to Florida. And while we were down there, I was probably like 6, maybe 7-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. Something happened, had an upset tummy. I took some Pepto-Bismol. My mother gave it to me. All of a sudden, my whole mouth turns black. My tongue turns black. I get sicker. We end up in the hospital in Florida. And it's a reaction to the Pepto-Bismol. And I remember that. Don't remember much else of Disneyland or anything like that. I do remember that my dad got like a wicked, like stage 10 sunburn on his back, because I remember driving back in the Mini Winnie, as it was called. And he was driving shirtless, and he like sitting forward in the seat because his back was like bright red. And at that point, we'd already been there for a while, so it started peeling. And I remember like the skin coming off in sheets. Other than that, I don't remember anything of the vacation or really what we did at Epcot Center or anything else. I remember riding on Thunder Mountain at the time and going through Small World, you know, where you ride on a little boat and they sing It's a Small World. Other than that, nothing. Yep, the old Winnebago 360 Chrysler engine in it. I remember. Had a 4-barrel open air cleaner, so when you're driving it, we're ripping down the highway, and you know the old man's got his foot in the throttle. All you hear in the Mini Winnie is just boom coming through there through the doghouse. You're sitting right on the engine. It was great. 24-hour ride. Wow. Bias ply tires, because I remember every time we would stop and like get gas somewheres, you know, of course the tires are hot and they sit and you take off and it's like bum, 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 bum. It's shake, you know, until the tires got round again. It was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was a long time ago. Yeah. Anyhow, I guess that's it. I think that's all we have for story time right now. And, you know, that was back when we could ride in cars with no seatbelts. And, you know, there was no seatbelts in the Winnebago. And oftentimes it had the upper bunk, you know, it had the big, like, you know, hat that stuck out over the flat windshield. And I would be up laying in that. That was my jam. That's where I like to hang out. And if that thing ever wrecked, I mean, you're all going to die. The thing's made out of balsa wood and, you know, paneling. So, you know, no, there ain't no survivors when you wreck one of those things. Yeah, and I guess that was it. That was part of my childhood. Yep. That was a while ago. That was awesome. How old am I? I'm 39. Going on the big 4-0 this year. It's going to be the big event, the big turn in life, I guess, when you hit 40. But needless to say, we got to talk about toilets, how to prevent splashback. We did the mail call, looked at some things there. We talked about childhood trips in the Winnebago. We also talked about the blankie and the best, cheapest chainsaw you can buy. Fired up some old memories. So I think, unless there's anything else over here that we need to talk about. No, I didn't have any pony rides as a kid, RV freedom. However, my neighbor did have a horse that got hit in the road in front of our house, which is quite the experience. I remember that as a very young child. Horse, used to feed it, then it jumped the fence and got hit in the road. And there was also a kid that got hit in the road in front of our house. I remember that. I vaguely remember it. There was a kid. People sat by my parents' house to visit something or do something, and they had a child with them. And it was in a minivan, and they backed out of my parents' driveway, and the door was open on the minivan, and the kid fell out, and the dad actually ran his own child over. The kid has survived, but I remember that. It was quite traumatic, you know, bringing the kid into our house, and like, you know, he was at our kitchen table and, you know, waiting for the ambulance and stuff. It was pretty awful, pretty traumatic as a child. So I do remember that. Amazing what you can remember when you think about stuff. But that's it. I think we're going to wrap it up. We've talked about enough. The banana's gone. The apple's gone. I almost drank half a bottle of water today to go along with 3 cups of coffee and the 16-ounce Red Bull. And so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for sticking around with the stories. And thanks for the Blue Wrenchers sticking around, moderating the comments on their own time at their own free will. And thank you guys for being awesome subscribers. The videos are going to return. Got a couple in the queue. We got one coming up just on a key fob programming on a Dodge. And we got one on a Kia that had some broken springs. excuse me, and some rear shocks. And then I plan on recording some more stuff this week. So we'll get that done. Things are calming back down here, getting back to normal, whatever normal is. And I can breathe again. So I'm going to head home, hit the shower, hit the bed, wake up and do it all over again tomorrow. So we'll see you guys then, or around, or at least maybe next Wednesday, and all that stuff. So thanks for being awesome. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.